Tourist, the Trades and Industry Committee has put on hold the approval of 80 million cedis allocated for the construction of the National Cathedral. The allocation, which was made to the Ministry for Tourism, has failed to go through the committee because MPs want more answers from the minister. According to Tamale Central MP, until the committee is satisfied, they will not approve the ministry's estimate without the allocation made to. They will approve the estimate without the allocation made to the cathedral.
What the committee decided was that, one, we cannot just approve this 80 million for you. We must know how the other 339 million was spent. Because like I told you, when we are looking at budget estimates, we have a duty as the legislature to hold the executive accountable. In
terms of what you've approved previously.
Exactly. Even if we didn't, they did it illegally, but we have a mandate now to find out, is the taxpayers' money. How did you spend the 339 million? What did it constitute? The 80 million you want us to approve, how did that 80 million find space in the budget line of the Ministry of Tourism when the minister and the directors could not speak to the questions we were asking? Two, what constitute the 80 million, Ghana cedis you want us to approve? Give us the breakdown. Three, what role did you play in coming out with that? Of course, the minister will not be in the position to answer the earlier two questions. How the 330 million was spent. Those who expended the money, we are inviting them. We are inviting the Secretariat to come and explain to us, and possibly the Minister for Finance to come and explain to us how they spend those monies. If not, it will be unquestionable that we go ahead to approve this. And
So for now, you put eyes on it?
Yes, we demanded the committee.
Taking a decision?
No. How will I explain to the people of Tamale Central that yes, the 80 million was added into the Ministry of Tourism budget? I didn't ask questions. I didn't find out whether the minister and the ministry participated in coming out with that budget line. I didn't even find out the breakdown of that 80 million. I didn't also find out how the 339 million Ghana cedis was already spent, and out of it, how about 25 million Ghana cedis was given to a so-called, international acclaimed architect. So you don't rob money to build it. You want to make money at the expense of people using God as a basis. It's wickedness.
Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed also alleged that the allocation was imposed on the ministry by the presidency without the knowledge of the minister and technocrats and the ministry. He explains why.
The budgets are done through the agencies. You have a budget planning committee of every ministry, and the agencies under the ministry would also plan their budget. They then have a committee to look at the individual agency budgets, and that is conglomerated to give you the ministry budget, including, of course, the budget of the ministry itself. So every aspect of the budget that is presented by the minister on behalf of the ministry and the agencies that the minister is supervising over, that minister must have the information on his fingertips, and therefore he must speak to each of them because they are all agencies. When we realized that the cathedral, the 80 million cedis, is in the Ministry of Tourism, we asked simple questions. We wanted to find out from the minister whether he made an input in the planning, the calculation of the budget, and what they were going to do, for which reason the 80 million Ghana cedis for the cathedral is found in the ministry budget. The minister could not explain. And I remember I wanted to find out from the chief director, because he's the head of the technical people within the ministry, whether they participated in coming out with the budget. Because the minister ought to know, the chief director ought to know. You can't just allow anybody to put any budget on your ministry and says 80 million. They could not give us any response. Again, we wanted to find out from the minister, how did they award the contract? Of course, you could not falter the minister for the amount of money that have been spent already, because when they were spending the 339 million Ghana cedis, it was not under the Ministry of Tourism. But we want to know this amount of money, how they arrive at that. Again, when we look at the agencies under the Ministry of Tourism, they could not tell us under which agency is the cathedral project is going to fall, because it must fall under a particular agency. If it is not directly under the Ministry of Tourism, we can't find it under any of the agencies, then it must as well they should keep it in the office of the President. Is it the case that it was imposed on the minister and the ministry from the Flagstaff House? And I guess the sense that was what happened, because if it wasn't imposed on the ministry, the minister or the chief director and the directors who were all there, including all the directors of the agencies or heads of the agencies, they should have been able to provide us with the answers. They couldn't do that. So it is ridiculous, to be very honest with you, to have that under the budget line of the Ministry of Tourism, yet the minister and the directors cannot speak to it. That is just ridiculous.
Meanwhile, you may recall comment by Ochehene that the cathedral must be built so as not to bring shame to President Akufo-Addo, who made that promise to the Christian community. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed has a response.
I don't know whether I should cry or I should laugh. Look, I'm a royal and I have so much respect for chiefs. But to be very honest, I think that when Karl Marx said that religion was the opium of the masses, I think the traditional authorities now is becoming the opium of the masses. I mean, how on earth could anyone argue this way? The biggest cathedral in Ghana is in my constituency. The biggest cathedral. And I remember even as a Muslim growing up, that's where we used to go. We used to go to watch, movies of Jesus Christ, and you had a lot of young people going there. Now, I have heard the argument that is being made that yes, it is a tourist attraction. On what basis are we going to get in tourist attraction? You think that someone will leave Bethlehem and leave those,
They want to build
those,
a Bible
I'm saying,
museum.
please, I'm coming. Bible museum. Even the Bible itself tells you the best thing that pleases God is to help improve the living conditions of people. You think that God will be happy with this? The best thing to do to please God is to reduce poverty, is to eschew corruption, because these are vices that God himself would not tolerate, is to reduce poverty, to create jobs, to ensure that there is peace and harmony, there is security, safety of the people. That is what God asks you to do. God didn't ask you that you should build cathedral at the expense of the survival of people. So if someone tells me, and you have a traditional, a very respectful or respected traditional leader who says that we shouldn't bring shame. So we shouldn't bring shame at the expense of our survival. So because of avoiding shame, people must rob in the name of God. You think God will be happy? I think that God is angry with this government.